Welcome to Behind the Spotlight. I'm your host, Crystal Lampett, and you may have seen our next guests at Boulevardia, maybe middle of the map, or at any number of venues around town. Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. So I'm pretty excited because we're getting a sneak peek at one of your newest songs, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be on your newest album, which is in the making, and that's going to be coming out soon. Tell us the name of the first song that you're going to perform.
It's called Play It Cruel.
Play It Cruel by Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds. Take it away, guys.
If you're gonna twist the knife, dig deep, do it right. Push it all the way through, that's the least you can do. If you're gonna pull the string, keep it taut, make it sing. Oh, it's just like a noose, that's the least you can do. Love is blind and I'm just a fool. I'll play my part. You play it cruel. If you're gonna poison me, make it soft, make it sweet, so I can drink of you. That's the least you can do. Love is blind and I'm just a fool. I'll play my part. You play it cool. If you're gonna tell your lies, have a smile in your eye, and I'll pretend it's all true. That's the least you can do. If I'm gonna fade into the night, that's alright, I won't fight. Just make it quick, play it through, that's the least you can do. Love is blind and I'm such a fool. I'll play my part. Play it cruel.
And that was Play It Cruel by Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds. And I do just kind of want to explain, there have been a few different iterations of Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds, yeah?
Yeah.
So how recent is this gathering of the band?
Well, Calandra's been playing with me for about 3 years now.
Okay.
Tom joined in December. I've been a sideman for a long time, and but this is the first time I've ever been like the primary songwriter in a band. So we actually went through a few different groups of people as I was trying to figure out what I was doing, and trying to find like the right people to help me make that happen. So yeah, so Calandra's it's been about 3 years. And
what finally brought everyone together into this version of Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds?
Well, Tom and I have been friends for a long time. We had another drummer, and things just kind of were in different places in our lives, and I felt like it was time that I needed to make a change. And Tom's girlfriend actually rents a room in my house, so he's around a lot.
It works out really well. Yeah.
So he's around a lot, and it was very convenient for us to get together and play. So, and I just always admired his playing. So.
It is funny. I feel like the Kansas City music scene is very small.
It is.
It's a small
really
world,
Yeah.
and I've seen you before. You also play for Madison Ward and the Mama Bear, and so many bands are just in multiple bands. Like
well, there's a lot of there are a lot of music venues, and there's a lot of attention going on with the music community here, but it's not really an industry city, and people don't tour as much as they used to. So, and if you want to stay busy, you probably play in a couple of bands. So
sure. Oh yeah, totally makes sense. And there's a lot of talent, which is why we have a whole show about it, which I like. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Sure. We will have more after this. Don't go anywhere.
Love is blind and I'm just a fool.
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. I'm here with Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds, and I do want to get an explanation for the band name. Who are the Guilty Birds? What are the Guilty Birds?
The Guilty Birds are what you hear when you're stumbling out of somewhere at 4 o'clock in the morning after making lots of bad decisions, and the birds are already out, sitting on the.
And you haven't made it home yet.
Yeah, you haven't made it home yet, and they're judging you. So yeah, those are the Guilty Birds.
Are they judging you though, or are they cheering you on?
I always feel like they're judging me.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe
because
maybe so.
They're like,
maybe so.
Maybe you had a really good night.
If you can remember it.
Just remember the good parts. Let's stick with that. Well, you are working on some new material, and you have had. I mean, the band has had a lot of transition. So I know that you initially started performing with your wife, and then she passed. She had a cancer diagnosis, unfortunately. Tell me about your decision to continue and stick with music and create new versions of yourself and of the band. I mean, that had to have been a challenging process.
Well, she passed in 2013, and before she was diagnosed, we were kind of on a career trajectory. We were touring Europe every year, and of course that all stopped. And then after she passed, it's kind of like every time a band ends, you kind of have to start over. And I decided that I needed to have at least one thing that would be a continuous body of work, and I assumed that I would still continue to do sideman work, and I still do occasionally for other people. I played with the Architects for a couple of years, and I still do like session work for people and do one-off gigs and things like that. But I felt like I needed to create a body of work that would continue, so at least there would be one thing that I don't have to start over.
Like a constant.
Right. And the only way to do that really is to have it be your songs and your material, otherwise you're always kind of, players kind of come and go, but so I decided to see if I could even do it, because I'd always been like kind of a band leader and hired and fired people and stuff, and helped with arrangements and things. I'm also an audio engineer, so I did a lot of the recording, but yeah, so this is the first project that I've ever been the primary songwriter in. So.
Well, for all of you, what do you think it takes to have a constant, cohesive band? I mean, what are the things that work? What are the things that you've learned over the years? And this is for anybody.
Well, the best thing is to pay people.
That always helps.
And to really enjoy it.
In every industry.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a lesson that I learned a long time ago. And unless you're the Rolling Stones, people kind of come and go, and even in that band, people have come and gone. And it's really not necessarily a negative thing. I mean, people play music together for a while, and then when it suits them, and when it doesn't suit them all, then they don't. And sometimes people come back that have been gone, and that's okay. It's all just part of a growth process that never really ends. So
you got to have a good just foundation, personal relationship too. That's one thing I've noticed in past bands, where if someone starts gnawing at you early, the clock's running at that point.
Isn't that interesting though too? Because it's like any relationship. If you started off on a bad foot,
Yeah.
It's probably going to continue. That resentment can grow, and it just sort of becomes like that is now the trajectory of where that's going.
Before I started, I've seen the two of them at their worst, and they've seen me at my worst. So we knew what we were getting into.
So I'm curious to know what the worst was.
Oh, no, we don't need that.
We don't need to go into that.
Guilty birds are involved.
There were lots of guilty birds. The guilty birds were there, witnessed it. It was okay. Yeah. That helps, though, right? I mean, it's real life, and everyone has human moments.
Sure.
And I imagine when you guys are on the road, you're around each other 24/7. That's a test for anyone in any relationship, whether friendship, band. I mean,
it's kind of a high stress environment too. So like that's going to bring out anything that's kind of hiding in the background.
Yeah, absolutely.
So communication is definitely key. You have to. If something's annoying you, speak up quickly. Don't let it sit.
Get it off your chest.
Just get it out there and move on. And you have to also. Let people be who they are and understand that, you can't control that. And,
you can't? Wait, what? Hold on. You can't control people?
It's amazing how much people try. Really, it's best to just kind of let people be who they are, and if it works, then it works, and if it doesn't, then that's okay too.
I feel like this is great, just general life advice. Right? I mean, accepting people for who they are and where they're at. Like you said, it does sound like, especially in band situations, sometimes you got to let people come and go. I mean, of course you have to let them, but it's just part of it.
Yeah, it's just part of the deal.
It's flowing, and it
And it doesn't. It doesn't have to be a really negative thing. It's just, and sometimes people come back, and that's fine too.
Yeah. Sometimes it works out. How have you guys, as the trio that you are now, how have you sort of worked together to find your sound and come up with a consistent, sound for? It
changes a little every time you add a new player, and you just kind of have to have an open mind that's going to be the way it is, and I feel like it's been a positive change. It's just but it is definitely a different dynamic. The drummer that we had before was Michelle Bacon, and she did a lot of harmony vocals, so it was kind of like more of a Phil Spector girl group kind of thing. Whereas Tom's a more kind of power drummer, so it's more of a power trio situation, and there's a little less harmony stuff going on, but instrumentally speaking, it's a little more powerful. So it's just a different dynamic,
And I know you said that you transitioned into being the main songwriter, and that was, so talk to me a little bit about that process and what inspires you and where these songs come from. I know Siempre, which is in our web exclusive, that's a lot to do with Mexico. I mean, why Mexico? What's sort of behind some of these songs?
Well, my late wife and I started when she got sick and we were unable to tour all the time. We were so used to traveling and missed it. But we could take like short trips, and so we started going to Mexico, to a town there called Tulum, which is really beautiful. And I still go at least once a year when I can. And the entire first record actually was written in 2 trips to Mexico. Something about kind of getting out of your regular home environment, regular stresses, is helpful for me anyway to write. When I'm at home, I'm worried about paying bills and dealing with all that, and it's easier for me to kind of get away. So I'm overdue.
This year,
I need to finish this
after the winter, you're kind of like, all right, time to go.
And this was a real winter too, so we'll have one of those in a couple of years. So.
Yeah, lots of pipes freezing, lots of fun stuff this winter. It sounds like a very special place to you.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Is it partly a creative jump start?
Yeah, it's down the coast from all the kind of crazy party Cancun thing, and so it's not super built up, and it's just kind of quiet, and there are a bunch of expatriate chefs that have set up really amazing restaurants there, like along the beach road, and it's just a really nice, relaxing place for me to kind of get away, and then that's kind of when I'm able to put my thoughts together and write. It's difficult when you're in the kind of daily grind.
The hustle and bustle, I think everybody kind of needs that. And you guys do a lot of traveling. I mean, there's a lot of touring involved. What's been one of your best experiences, or a favorite city, or?
Well, we just did South by Southwest in
Austin,
and,
which is amazing.
And that's always crazy.
Last year we opened up for Eddie Money.
That's
Nice.
true.
Yeah, last year we did a music festival in Leawood,
Wow.
and we opened up for Eddie Money. Eddie Money. That was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
Yeah, that was fun. We also played with Los Lobos at Knuckleheads. And
Los Lobos,
I love
yep.
Los Lobos. I think they're the best live band on the planet.
Really?
They're so good. And they were actually really friendly too, and like came out of their dressing
that
room and
even
watched us
better?
play, and then and they were really complimentary, and yeah, they're really nice guys.
Yeah.
It's nice when you idolize someone and then you
Yeah.
meet them in person and they are also amazing. They
Right.
sound amazing and they treat you.
I've had the opposite experience a couple times, and it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice when they're just really cool, and those guys are really cool guys. So
That's awesome. Great to
Yeah.
hear. And you do perform around Kansas City a lot as well. So I'm curious, what's kind of one of your favorite venues around here?
my favorites, for different reasons, it would be Knuckleheads and the Record Bar.
Okay.
Those are kind of my two favorite places in the city to play.
Any particular reasons why?
They really treat you well at Knuckleheads, even if you're like the local band that's
Yeah.
opening for nationals or whatever. There so many stages, and even if you're the opener, you get your own dressing room, and they're just really
So
really
fancy.
nice.
They have a good green room.
Yeah, and the staff is really
helps.
friendly, and it's just like it's a really interesting kind of
That's a good
offbeat
spot.
venue. And then the Record Bar, I'm also an audio engineer, so I've worked there on and off over the years too, and I've known the owners for 20 years, and they're just hearts in it for the right reasons.
The right
and-
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a difference. How about you guys? Any shout outs to favorite venues in KC?
To be honest, it's hard to rank them, really. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Record Bar fan. I go there a lot.
Sure.
I call it my
Me
second
too.
home.
You're like, I live here under the bar.
But as you talk about the community, we know a lot of the different venue owners. They all do a great job. The Truman just opened, and that's been a really cool
Yep.
spot. We haven't played there yet, but it's got a lot of good things going for it. So, I mean, Kansas City has it really, really good here.
Yeah,
For sure.
I do
The more
want
you
to check
travel,
out
the
Truman.
more you know.
Yeah, you do.
realize,
Yeah,
right?
yep,
Like,
yep.
wow, we're
Yeah.
really spoiled in Kansas City. 'Cause
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've played like notable name venues in like New York City, and it's terrible. Little
There's like
PA,
racks
and
in the room.
duct
Yeah.
tape mic together, and you're like, this is this famous place I've been hearing about my whole life, and yeah, wow. Okay.
Isn't that incredible? There you have it from these guys. You've been all over the world, and Kansas City's got it pretty good, which I'm very happy to hear. All right, we'll be right back after this. Don't go
Play
anywhere.
my part. You played cruel.
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. We do have one more song from Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds. And this is one that's on your first album, right?
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. somewhere. And if people want to find that album and find more of your new music, where can they go?
It's on everywhere online. So iTunes, and you can actually also access that through our website, which is just chrismeckandtheguiltybirds.com.
And I was just tagging you guys on Instagram,
Yep.
all the social media, all that jazz.
We're about everywhere, yeah.
You're ubiquitous. You can't avoid them. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to this last song. It is called Train by Chris Meck and the Guilty Birds. Take it away.
When my train comes one fine day, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. Hear that whistle round the bend. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. If it be tomorrow, I can leave my sorrows behind. When the man comes, take my hand. I'll be steady. I'll be steady. Back unbroken, head held high. Don't you worry. forget about me.